Big boost to India-China border trade. Lipulekh Pass reopens after 6 years. India-China revive trade via Lipulekh. Infrastructure boost to drive higher trade volumes. Here's why it holds strategic importance.
High up in the Himalayas, where the air is thin, the terrain unforgiving and geopolitics razor sharp, a quiet but significant shift is underway. India and China are reopening trade through the Lipulekh Pass, a move that may seem routine on the surface, but in reality carries deep economic, strategic and diplomatic implications. Hello and welcome to another episode of NewsX Explained. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. Today we're taking a look at why the reopening of the Lipulekh Pass is far more than just trade resuming, and why it could be a big boost for India. The Lipulekh Pass sits at a critical tri-junction connecting India's Uttarakhand region with the Tibet Autonomous Region of China near the tri-junction with Nepal. For centuries, this has been an ancient trade and pilgrimage route. It is also one of the key access points for the sacred Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, a spiritual journey to Mount Kailash and Lake Mansarovar. But beyond religion and history, Lipulekh is strategically crucial because it sits in a sensitive, contested and highly militarized zone. The pass was the first Indian border post to be opened for trade with China in 1992. This was followed by the opening of Shikila, Himachal Pradesh in 1994 and Nathula, Sikkim in 2006. Presently, Lipulekh Pass is open for cross-border trade every year from June through September. Products cleared for export from India include jaggery, misri, tobacco, spices, pulses, fafar flour, coffee, vegetable oil, ghee and other consumables. The main imports into India include sheep wool, pasam, sheep goats, borax, yak tails, butter and raw silk. Located at a height of 17,000 feet in Pithoragarh district's Chand Valley, trade through the historic Lipulekh Pass was also previously suspended for decades after the 1962 India-China war, resuming only in 1992. The pass thus remained operational for years under border trade agreements between India and China. However, tensions flared sharply after the 2020 border crisis, particularly following the Galwan Valley clash, and everything changed. Troop deployment surged, trust collapsed, and multiple border points, including trade routes, were either restricted or functionally frozen. Lipulekh became collateral damage in a much larger geopolitical standoff. The reopening signals something important. It signals a calibrated threat. India and China have been holding multiple rounds of military and diplomatic talks to stabilize the line of actual control. While there is a way to go, both sides now appear willing to cautiously reopen low-risk engagement channels. And trade routes like Lipulekh are a perfect testing ground. And so border trade is set to resume after a 6-year pause. The Ministry of External Affairs has formally notified local authorities to prepare for the reopening, which will involve issuing trade passes and setting up customs and other infrastructure in the Pithoragarh district. In fact, District Magistrate Ashish Bhatkai confirmed that local administrative preparations are already underway to facilitate the trade session. He stated, "We have started preparatory meetings with the stakeholders and the local community. This is a very positive and welcoming step." He added that the subdivisional magistrate of Dharchula has been designated as the primary trade officer to oversee operations. State authorities have been instructed to coordinate closely with Chinese counterparts to ensure seamless operations. This includes the exchange of contact details between local officials on both sides of the border to maintain communication and security protocols. To support the influx of traders, the local administration is currently drafting an action plan. This encompasses the establishment of transit camps, secure communication channels, dedicated banking services for currency exchange, and medical facilities. So let's break down the economic upside, beginning with the revival of border trade economies. Local communities in Uttarakhand, particularly the Pithoragarh district, depend heavily on seasonal cross-border trade. Reopening Lipulekh means that jobs return, local markets are revived, and traditional trading networks restart. For those remote regions, this is not just trade, it is survival. The move also provides a huge leg up for small traders and local goods. Border trade through Lipulekh typically involves Indian exports such as textiles, tea, spices, manufactured goods, and imports like wool, raw materials, Tibetan goods. These are not large-scale corporate trades, they are smaller, trader-driven ecosystems that get a fresh lifeline. For example, for the Bhutia community of Uttarakhand, the reopening is more than an economic move. It restores a centuries-old way of life. Once dependent on arduous trans-Himalayan caravans and barter trade with Tibet, many families saw their livelihoods collapse after the 1962 rupture and again following the 2019 closure. At a time when global supply chains are under stress, it also indicates a strategic diversification of trade. Reopening even limited land trade routes adds resilience. It provides India with alternative channels, particularly for niche goods, reducing over-dependence on maritime routes. In 2018, right before trade along the route was frozen, exchange of goods through Lipulekh totaled approximately 6.55 crore rupees, including 5.59 crore rupees in imports from Tibet and 0.96 in exports from India. The seasonal trade involved 244 Indian participants, including 70 registered traders and 174 helpers. Thus, the trade through Lipulekh is not just about goods exchange, rather it plays a major role in supporting local economies and strengthening regional connectivity. For people in border areas, it's a vital source of income. It also helps maintain traditional and historic ties between communities living on both sides of the border. But the move goes beyond just trade. By reopening Lipulekh, India is reinforcing its administrative and logistical presence in the region. Remember, this area is also part of a territorial dispute involving Nepal. Even back in 2020, Nepal had objected to India's road construction to Lipulekh, claiming the territory. By reopening the pass, India is also sending a signal. The nation is operationally active and is firmly in control on its side. Trade reopening also acts as a confidence-building measure, a small but visible step that reduces friction. It allows both India and China to show domestic audiences that engagement is still possible without compromising on core disputes. It adds another layer to small steps being taken by both sides ever since NSA Ajit Doval and Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi held boundary talks in New Delhi in August 2025. Moreover, India has spent years upgrading roads and connectivity to border areas, including the strategic road to Lipulekh. Reopening trade validates those investments. Infrastructure that was once pure military now becomes dual-use, boasting both defense mobility and economic activity. Traditionally, traders reaching Tibet's Taklokot market relied on horses, mules or porters to transport goods, a process that was both time-consuming and labor-intensive. However, for the first time in Uttarakhand, traders can now use the newly completed road connecting Dharchula to Lipulekh Pass, finished in 2020. This development, part of high-level discussions between Doval and Wang Yi in August 2025, is expected to significantly reduce the reliance on traditional means of transport. For India, there is the added cultural and religious dimension. Lipulekh is a key route for Kailash Mansarovar Yatra, one of the most important pilgrimage for Hindus, Buddhists and Jains. Resuming access strengthens India's people-to-people link, cultural diplomacy with Tibet and domestic public goodwill. In a region often defined by hard power, this is India leveraging soft power effectively. So what does this really tell us? Well, the reopening of Lipulekh is not just about trucks crossing a mountain pass. It reflects a broader shift in India's approach. Compete with China, but keep communication open. Strengthen border regions economically and strategically. Use infrastructure not just for defense, but for development. And carefully balance geopolitics with ground realities. In many ways, this is India practicing pragmatic realism. In geopolitics, big breakthroughs often begin with small openings. A single mountain pass reopening may not resolve a border dispute, but it can restart dialogue, revive economies, and reshape dynamics on the ground. The Lipulekh trade route is one such opening, quite calculated, potentially consequential.
Big boost to India-China border trade. Lipulekh Pass reopens after 6 years. India-China revive trade via Lipulekh. Infrastructure boost to drive higher trade volumes. Here's why it holds strategic importance.